Hey guys, my name is Silven, and tonight we are recording the Jesus You Alone album here at Church of the Highlands. And I'm playing both acoustic and electric parts for these songs. And I think, let's start with my board first. So, I'm normally an electric guitar guy, but we needed someone to play the acoustic parts as well. And so, for the purposes of this recording, I just kind of stripped it down to like bare bones, meat and potatoes. I have a much bigger board than this back home, but as you can see, space is very limited, and I didn't really need that big setup anyways. So, let me quickly walk you through what I'm using and why exactly. So, first, of course, there's an RC booster, and my general philosophy when it comes to preamp style pedals is I don't always leave them on all the time necessarily, but I'll do a lot of on the fly tone shaping dependent on the song and the part or the guitar. For example, on one of her songs called Joy, I'm playing some like higher octave like lead stuff, but there's a lot of stuff going on in that song, especially with like synths and stuff. And so I back off the bass a little bit and bump up the treble to help that part jump out a little bit more. And on some other songs, I'm playing like more rhythmic stuff, just big fat chords. And so for those, I'll roll back the treble and then turn the bass up to give it a little more fullness. And maybe I'll turn the gain up a little bit more as well. So that's my general approach with those kinds of pedals. On my other board, I have a Jackson Audio Prism, and I use that in pretty much the same way. And moving on, I had the good old full drive 2. I've had this one. I got this pretty much when these MOSFET series first came out. So this is actually a pretty old full drive 2 MOSFET. And I just love it. I mean, I tell myself all the time one day I'm going to sell it, but I always go back to it, like for whatever reason. And I tried out all my pedals, and I went with using this guy, running it at 12 volts, not a whole lot of gain, leaving it on the vintage mode, and tone up a little bit to help it cut through some. And I'm not using the boost side, and I actually generally leave this on because I just love what it does for my tone. And most of these pedals, I actually didn't have to take anything off of my actual board. I actually had all these on standby, thankfully. And I go out of that into the tuner, just a little Polytune Mini, had that guy for a long time, and into this Wazacraft DM2. I think John Ross has the same one, and I'm just leaving that on kind of a longer slapback setting. And from that, going into my trusty Blue Sky. I've had this for quite a while. It's never let me down. I'll probably never sell this. And on my other board, I have its bigger brother, the Big Sky, and I'm loving that, still messing around with that a lot. And I'm just leaving this on kind of a medium setting, but I'm only using that on one song. And going out of the Blue Sky, I'm going into my Kemper. Quite controversial, I know. And you might be asking, like, what's better, like tube amps or Kempers? And the only answer to that is really yes and no. Because, like, for example, in our setting, Wesley and John Ross, they're already running stereo amp setups. Wesley is using the ISO caps, John Ross is using another room. And so there wasn't really a place to put another amp and be able to run it nice and loud. And so in this situation, it was better to have a Kemper. So I get like that nice live amp, like produced tone, but without going through the hassle of trying to find another space for an extra amp. And so I love it for that purpose, for convenience sake. And I'm using what's called the AC Silver Bell profile. I'm not sure if you can get that, but this is a profile by Tone Junkie. And this is actually a profile of the 60th anniversary reissue Vox AC30s, the same one that John Ross is using. And I love it. The front of house guys, they like it more and more each time I use it. And I'm still messing around with it, trying to dial it in. But for convenience sake, like, I love this. I can't say enough good things about it. But that's it for my electric guitar setup. Oh, and of course, the electric guitar. For this recording, I'm using this 2017 American Professional Jazzmaster. It has the maple neck, which I was surprised that this was the guitar I went with. This was actually purchased as a gift for me, as a wedding gift by my sister. Shout out to her. And so I was very pleased with it. I was surprised that I liked it. I love the maple neck. For the most part, it's stock, except for the bridge. That's a mastery bridge. And they're a little bit pricey, but in my opinion, it's completely worth it because it made this guitar and brought it from good to great. It feels really good. It feels like I should have paid like at least twice as much for it now. So I'm really happy with this guy. And it's very present, very lively, which is perfect for what we're doing for the record. And kind of the main event, what I'm using for most of the night, is this custom shop Martin 000 series. And we decided to go with this guy in the end because it has a bit of a smaller body style, as you can see. And so it's less boomy, less bassy, so that makes it much easier for front of house to mix, especially when you're in a full band setting, like lots of people and vocalists. So it's a very vocal and articulate acoustic. I didn't know what I thought about it at first for a long time, but over the process of rehearsing and writing parts for this album, I've loved it more and more. So yeah, that's this guy. And I'm just using TU3, TU3 tuner, running that separately from my little board. Oh, and cool story, by the way, this is actually a cutting board from Target. I think I got it for like $8. I asked my wife, hey, I need a really tiny board for the recording, and I looked in our cabinet, and there it was. And that's pretty much it. And of course, quintessential, someone made a pedal board for me, but I didn't have enough time to set it up, and so I made it an ego riser. What else can you do? And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks, guys.